Good afternoon. A quick brief on where we are today. Today was a good day. Today we have reached a PSI level around 85. The tanks have started to respond, so positive trend going forward. A lot of the residents that kind of lost water yesterday started getting their water back this morning. Later on today, as we're seeing pressures improve, more people are starting to get their water back. I was over in South Jackson today off of Forest Hill Road, in Shannondale Drive. They're still struggling a little bit over there, but the pressure is increasing. Maybe a couple of residents on McClure Road that are still out, and maybe a couple other pockets in West Jackson. But from other than where we're having water main break repairs, where right now they're on Mega Evers, those particular places will be without water until those repairs are made. But I'm telling you, when I stood here yesterday, I was very disheartened. But from today, I'm telling you, I am very enlightened by where we're at today and where we should be tomorrow. Right now, we're on a trend of getting everybody's water restored, and which is a good thing, which everybody's been working toward. As our tanks continue to fill, if we don't make any regressions back, we'll be able to start sampling and hopefully start lifting the boil water notice. So that is a positive thing that is working for us. You know, we are very sorry for this traumatic experience for our residents throughout, this particular time, and understand that, this has been very difficult on everyone, especially our residents and businesses, and we sincerely appreciate their patience during this time. And as we continue to get out of this crisis, we continue to ask for their continued patience till we get the water restored to everyone. But we're checking different places, fire hydrants throughout the city. We're checking for valves to make sure all of our valves were open from a previous repair. So we're checking everything to make sure that there's no further delays in the restoration process. So once again, very good day today. Looking for a promising day tomorrow and into the weekend, and ready to move on to the next efforts. Take any questions.
Yeah, Dr. Williams, we're at 85 PSI, so that's a pretty dramatic increase from yesterday when we were at 55. I think the goal is to reach 90. Is that when we get to that point, is that when all the residents will have water?
I think that if we stay kind of in right where we are right now and start inching up to 90, yes. But I think the good thing right now is that water is flowing in the system, and we're getting our tanks filled. And like I said, ultimately we want to reach all of our residents, especially those of Forest Hill Road, Ms. Tripp and Mr. Cole. They have really, and a lot of our residents have just had to endure, this water outage. And it's disheartening that it's gone on this long. But, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm very encouraged by, what we're seeing right now and what we hope to see over the next couple of days.
Dr. Williams, explain how many water main breaks we're up against now, and with this progress, do you now finally have a time frame with when this could be fully restored for customers still dry?
I think that, as we continue to trend this during this time, hopefully over the weekend that, we can continue to see gains in our tanks, and the pressure sustained, then fully we can say that a majority of our residents, except for some isolated areas, will be with water. As far as the water main breaks, we're caught up pretty much with the breaks. Our guys are going out every day, working the breaks, repairing them, so that process has not stopped. And it has not impeded our progress as far as the restoration of water. It's just we have those small isolated leaks everywhere, certain places in the city that they're working on, and just getting those repaired. So it's all coming together. Unfortunately, it just took a lot longer than what we anticipated.
Dr. Williams, we saw the mayor's letter to the governor, that $47 million for upgrading the city's water infrastructure. Who exactly picked those itemized list of items that needed repair first, and how was that decided exactly?
I think when you look at the issues that the city has, obviously we have issues that are at the plant, we have issues in the distribution system. So what I hope that if it is approved, this is a start for us to start moving toward projects that can improve both the water treatment facilities, but also the water distribution system.
And who's in charge of making that list?
Who's in charge?
Yes.
If I provided information to the mayor for him to use.
Has the city brought in contractors to aid in, I guess, making repairs at the water treatment plant and the water line breaks?
We have. So we've had vendors come in and assist us at the plant, looking at pumps, looking at all of our mechanical items. You know, we had a vendor in yesterday to assist us with getting the raw water screens back operational. So we've had vendors come in over the past couple of days to assist us. We've also had contractors come in and assist us on breaks, and also to assist us with looking at different areas in the system, checking valves, and we actually have somebody helping us do that right now over by Chastain. We also had a contractor assist us on the frontage road in Byram, where we had a fire hydrant that was knocked over, and fixed that leak. So once that leak was repaired, we saw an instant improvement in that area as far as pressure.
Do we have any idea how many customers are still being affected with little to no water pressure?
I think that's going to depend on location. And that's what we're actively searching now, is we're going out through the city checking fire hydrants. You know, we're checking fire hydrants for air, we're checking fire hydrants just to make sure there's water coming through it. And, you know, we're checking areas, higher elevated areas, just to see what the PSI is. So we're consistently checking just to see, number one, is water getting to that location? What's the pressure, and then, you know, how is that water circulating, you know, through other distribution lines. So like I said, I believe that scale is getting smaller every day, because what we're seeing out in the field is we're seeing water starting to flow in the distribution system, and that was not occurring earlier this week.
Dr. Williams, does it show that with the city sending a letter for $47 million to legislators and the governor, that this problem was just too big for the city to handle? And if this letter is approved, how would you use that money to make sure this doesn't happen again?
No, I think what it shows is that we've been, the city's been asking for assistance, and, you know, this is a quantified number. And, you know, if it's approved, then we will utilize it for improvements at our water treatment facilities and our water distribution lines.
Where do you see like this money being used the best? I was talking with Councilman Banks earlier, and he said, why not go, he was asking, why not go more? Why not try to ask for more money?
You know, I think that's a little bit above my pay grade, right, for us. But I'll say this, whatever assistance that I get, and I hope that I've showed this, I will utilize the money to the best of my ability to help aid our residents. And that's whether it's for roads, streets, bridges, you know, our water system or sewer collection system. So for me to do my job as a public works director and a city engineer, I need the funds available to put into the infrastructure to make it better.
And Dr. Williams, before it was said that it would be roughly $2 billion to have a full upgrade of the water infrastructure. So what went into going to 47 and not higher than that?
The mayor made the list. I mean the letter, right? So I think that will be a question better posed to him. I think more so about, you know, concentrating on the number. I think we should concentrate that a request was made, right? And let's hope that the request is approved so we can begin utilizing that money to do the improvements. And then if the improvements are done, hopefully additional funding will come, you know, for additional improvements in the infrastructure system.
At the beginning of this, Dr. Williams, you said in one of your press briefings that there's going to need to be studies, not just with Jackson, but with a lot of cities working together across the South to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Granted, yes, no one can control the weather, but if this money is approved, where would you go with the studying, or where would you go to replace specific equipment to make sure this can't happen again? Because clearly it's possible.
Well, yes, it's definitely possible, and I think most highly likely it will happen again. I think that having a peer review where you have connected individuals who are experienced in this particular area, especially when you look at water treatment facilities, wastewater treatment facilities, and they come in and they do evaluations and they give you, recommendations of improvement that could be applied toward your infrastructure. Then you take that information, right, and you utilize it. So I think that is a positive thing that we probably really need to look at. I mean, there's, the American Water Works Association, the American Public Works Association. All of these different associations have groups that can come in and assist you. So I think the most important thing we want to do is we do not want to We definitely do not want this to happen again, right? But it possibly will. But how do we minimize that effect? And I think that if you look at over the years, our infrastructure has shown that it needs attention, right? But it's been more evident now that it needs attention, and we need to provide resources toward making improvements.
Any idea how much that could cost down the road, or what's the bill
Well,
now we're looking at?
Well, I think it's very difficult because right now we have a water issue, okay? We might get out of this, and 2 weeks from now we might have a different issue. Last year we're dealing with a flood, right? And we had multiple flooding incidents within the city. And so I think all of our infrastructure systems need attention. I think all of them need funding. But the catalyst right now is that we have a severe water outage occurred in the city, right? And it affected a lot of people from here all the way to Texas. And so I think it's evident that attention needs to be made toward the water treatment facilities, distribution system, and any monies that we can get approved for making those improvements, we would greatly accept it.
Yesterday you mentioned that the water pressure went down and that took water away from some residents who had finally gotten it. Do you know how much of a setback that still is?
Actually, right now, from the texts and emails that I have received, we pretty much bounced back. So, that's a good thing. We didn't lose too much. I was very concerned by us having pretty much a day of loss, that, it was going to set us back today. But it looks like we have regained what we had lost. So that's a good thing.
Going back to one of my earlier questions, if I may, Dr. Williams, currently how many water main breaks are being repaired right now, and do you expect it at all to possibly keep growing?
It very well. I mean, we get 4 or 5 breaks a day, so that's not anything different. We have narrowed down the list, and so I think we're somewhere around low 20s right now. So, I mean, that's not more than typically what we may see in the system itself. So we will eventually get all those repaired, and of course, every day we'll get new ones just because the system is old.
And on Sunday, we reached 90 PSI near O.B. Curtis. And Monday, we dropped. Today's another good day. What's preventing this from happening again and having another repeat of losing that pressure?
Well, obviously, when we're trying to prime the system, and it's how I would look at it, we won't have a good day, and then it was going to come back and be a bad day. But I think what we're trying to build is consistency, and I think that's what we really stated in the beginning, is how can we have a consistent trend going along and stay there. And so we've had, like I said, we've had a number of people at the plant today consulting us on the amount of water that we bring in, the amount of water that we put out in the distribution system, how we equalize that, and how we can keep it sustainable. So I'm very encouraged by the information that I've received today, and we'll take each day, one day at a time. But today, much better than yesterday, and tomorrow, we anticipate it to be better than today.
Sir, what do you know about the city of Byram? What's their status with customers?
Talked to the Byram Public Works Director today. He said that they were doing well, their pressures were up, so I think that Byram should be in a pretty good state right now. Any other questions?
Would you have thought it would drag on this long? 17 days, no running water for certain people? Would you have ever expected this? How do you keep your mindset focused to not let this bring you down with pride serving Jackson?
I think that this is a situation that occurred. I think we have to accept it. I think we have to accept the fact that our residents, a large portion of our residents, were without water for a number of days. But at the end of the day, I think that if this is an opportunity for us to get additional funds to help our infrastructure system, then I think that's what we need to look toward. That it? Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, sir.